What happens when the very badge meant to protect becomes the blindfold of justice? A decorated officer accused of corruption by the very partner who once trusted him with his life. The courtroom gasped, the department turned cold. Rumors spread faster than the truth, and power leaned heavy on one side. But in the end, only one story could survive the light. Stay with me until the very end, and don't forget to tap like, subscribe, and drop a comment telling us where you're watching from. Because what follows puts power itself on trial. Detective Marcus Hale had given 20 years to the badge, the kind of cop who knew every alley in Detroit by its smell. But when his partner, Vincent Rourke, accused him of pocketing evidence money, the precinct walls turned hostile overnight. The locker room fell silent when he walked in. A lifetime of service shrank to whispers and stares. Rourke's voice carried weight. He wasn't just a partner, he was Marcus's friend of 15 years. Now, his word was gospel. The Internal Affairs Office opened a file overnight, painting Marcus as a man who had grown greedy, blind to his oath. Marcus kept repeating, "I never touched that money." But doubt had already taken root. Whispers became shouts. Commanders eyed Marcus like a liability, benching him, taking his gun, his shield. Overnight, his name turned from respect to suspicion. Neighbors who once waved now stared as if danger lived next door. And every time Marcus's phone rang, it wasn't backup, it was another call to question his integrity. Vincent Rourke doubled down. At roll call, he told officers Marcus had been skimming for years, hiding behind his decorated record. Even the captain, Albright, leaned toward believing him. The case file thickened, and Marcus was told, "You're suspended pending investigation." No pay. No shield. Just the echo of betrayal ringing in his ears. The pressure crushed down. His wife, Lillian, asked late-night questions he couldn't answer. Friends stopped picking up. Marcus sat at the kitchen table, badge in hand, asking, "How do you prove you didn't steal?" And then, the midnight knock split the silence. It wasn't IA at the door. It was Janelle Ortiz, a clerk from evidence. Nervous, whispering, she said, "I think they're setting you up." She had seen Vincent checking evidence logs after hours, without authorization. But fear kept her quiet. Marcus saw his first crack of light, fragile, almost too dangerous to touch. Marcus began digging. Off-duty, stripped of authority, he traced Vincent's nights, credit card charges at upscale bars, cash spent like water. Money Vincent's salary couldn't explain. Marcus gathered receipts, surveillance glimpses, stitching a picture. Still, every step felt like trespass. Without his badge, he was just another man with suspicions. He took what he had to Captain Albright, but the captain cut him off. "You're desperate, Marcus. Don't drag the department down with you." Doors slammed harder than handcuffs. Vincent, meanwhile, strutted through the precinct, the hero who had rooted out corruption. Marcus felt the noose tighten around his reputation. One night, Marcus cornered Vincent outside O'Malley's bar. "Why'd you do it?" he asked. Vincent smirked. "You were the easy one, Hale." Old cop, tired eyes. Nobody questions the guy who points at you. Then he walked off, leaving Marcus seething in the cold night air. Proof still out of reach. Rourke's lies grew bolder. He claimed Marcus had threatened him into silence for years, that he finally broke the blue code to speak up. Internal Affairs scheduled Marcus's hearing. Headlines read, "Decorated Cop Under Fire." By the time Marcus walked into the station, even rookies looked at him like a criminal in uniform. The day before the hearing, Janelle returned. Hands trembling, she slid an envelope across Marcus's kitchen table, camera stills from evidence room logs. Vincent caught on tape removing sealed bags of cash. Timestamps matched the dates of missing money. Marcus stared at the images, the truth burning bright at last. The very rule Vincent used against Marcus now condemned him. Marcus contacted an old ally, retired Judge Alan Greer, who advised him, chain of custody is everything. Get those logs authenticated. Together, they prepared a motion to present new evidence. Marcus's heart pounded with something he hadn't felt in weeks, the weight of justice inching back onto his side. At the hearing, Vincent swaggered in, the golden witness. He painted Marcus as a thief hiding under honor. But when Marcus's lawyer laid down the photographs, the room shifted. Murmurs rippled. Albright's face froze. For the first time, Vincent's voice cracked under questioning. The cracks widened, showing nerves behind the polished mask. Vincent denied, deflected, and claimed the photos were doctored. But Janelle testified, her voice low but firm, that she'd pulled the records herself. The hearing room wasn't just silent, it was listening. Marcus leaned forward, staring at the man who had tried to bury him alive. Vincent's swagger was draining like blood from a wound. Marcus's lawyer dropped another bomb. Vincent had opened a new offshore account, cash deposits traced to missing evidence. The numbers glared like fingerprints. Vincent's face flushed. The board shifted uncomfortably, realizing the narrative had turned. Marcus sat straighter, not triumphant yet, but no longer the man under the boot. Tension snapped as Vincent lashed out. You think Hale's clean? He's dirt like me. The outburst rang desperate, not righteous. And the board saw it. Marcus didn't need to speak. The truth had begun speaking for him, loud enough that even silence couldn't smother it anymore. Just when it seemed over, Judge Greer presented the final thread, bank surveillance of Vincent depositing cash while wearing his department jacket. Unmistakable. Incontrovertible. The hearing room erupted. Years of friendship shattered in that image. But one detail was always there, buried in plain sight. Marcus finally stood. His voice was steady. You wore the badge to blindfold everyone, Vincent. But the truth doesn't stay buried. Vincent tried shouting him down, but it sounded hollow. Officers who once looked away now locked eyes with Marcus, seeing him, not the lies told about him. Evidence piled higher, wire transfers, phone records, witness statements. It was no longer Marcus's word versus Vincent's, it was Vincent drowning in his own trail. The hearing board adjourned to deliberate, but the outcome already felt written in the air. Justice had legs, and it was walking back toward Marcus. When the board returned, the verdict struck clear: Marcus Hale, exonerated of all charges. Vincent Rourke, terminated and referred for criminal indictment. The room froze in silence, then gasped. And then every voice fell silent as the truth hit the table. Marcus's badge was returned. Not as a token, but as a vindication. The chief himself said, "We failed you." Vincent was escorted out in cuffs, his once powerful name now another cautionary tale. For Marcus, it wasn't triumph, it was survival, hard-earned and scarred. Weeks later, Marcus walked the same streets. Neighbors waved again, but the betrayal lingered like smoke. Janelle transferred stations, starting fresh and a quiet hero. Marcus learned trust could be broken, rebuilt, but never blind again. Justice had spoken, but its cost was etched deep in him forever. Marcus stood outside precinct doors at dawn, badge glinting in the rising sun. The same metal that once felt like a blindfold now shone like a mirror, reflecting hard truth. Lesson: power corrupts when unchecked, but truth, however bruised, still rises. Even when betrayal wears a badge, justice can still see. If you believe stories like this deserve to be heard, subscribe to this channel and never miss the next case where truth prevails.